one of America's favorite means of entertainment. The culture around it has grown to so many subgenres that it's practically hard to count. The constant in each subgenre, though, is the friendly debates from the big three to Goku versus, well, everybody. And while these debates are normally tamed and calm, it is something that the whole family can enjoy. And then there's Anime After Dark.
People throw out Odd Taxi. I heard Call Me Can't Communicate. I heard, what else I heard? Breaking the Kings. Breaking the Kings is a real good one. Odd Taxi, that's it, Odd Taxi. One more. Yeah, I'm gonna give out my top three protagonists in anime. Top three protagonists in anime. Ichigo.
It was a lot of crazy shit going on. A lot of hot takes that was terrible.
Low-key, part of me wanted to shed a tear, but I didn't shed a tear, so...
It was way beyond what I could have ever imagined. Like, that's how great it was.
It worked out, man. It was a great experience seeing all those people pull up in there, man.
It was just like, oh, hell no, that's not. And then people just running around. And it's like, that whole environment was just so like magical to see it actually happen, because this is what you see on Twitter.
Yo, it's like basically like 300 people in this in this room right now for Anime After Dark. This is so like bizarre, but like in a good way.
I'm like, all these people can't be here for Anime After Dark. Like, it blew my mind.
Oh shit, all right, okay, so what we gonna do now? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, like, it was, oh man, it was such a good, so many good vibes, so many good feelings, so many good people. I just loved every minute of it.
When the amount of people actually showed up, I was like, dang, like they really fooled us. Like,
I get goosebumps thinking about it. So yeah.
So before we can get into the legendary feat they pulled off at DreamCon, we first need to understand who the collective is around Anime After Dark. First, let's meet One Piece Leek.
everybody knows me as One Piece Leek,
Mr. Twitter Fingers,
or First Mate Leek.
And Leek is also hilarious.
Leek is damn near like the glue to everything.
That nigga has been a rock in my entire creation career from the start.
Now Kingdom Leek. But my name is Malik, right? I'm a member of the Worst Generation Podcast, one of the original 4 members.
Started off, the running joke was he was the first mate of the pod, but Leek really is that. Like, that nigga has been a rock.
Malik Poodle.
Hey, Leek to me is such a family guy. Like, not even just with his family, but like with us as a whole.
He has a certain way of like always being able to like calm the crowd, like calm the environment, no matter what. When things get too rowdy, Leek always can bring that level-headed, and he's always had profound things to say.
That's the start of Worst Generation Podcast. That was my start into content creation, actually. Before Worst Generation Pod, before GB like reached out because he wanted to start a pod, he had an idea, he wanted to start a pod. Like, I was more so just a casual observer. I wouldn't even say I was in actual like anime Twitter until a lot of that happened.
we were trying to come up. He's like leak, and at the time, like people were big on spoilers during. It's an up and down thing with spoilers, but this is a One Piece podcast, and One Piece spoilers was crazy. So I'm like, you should be One Piece Leek.
Leek's usually the one who's like calm, and Leek is also hilarious.
Like, Leek is really him. And then outside of like what Leek does for operations, he has an amazing mind. Leek has a real good knack for taking in content, taking in media, and summarizing it. He's a man of very few words, but he's really good at like tying up things. And
like the way that he puts his thoughts together when it comes to, like, talking about like anime or just about anything in general. I've always appreciated that about Leek. He has a certain way of just like saying things to make it sound like it's not that doesn't sound legible or intelligent, because it is legible and intelligent. He does have a fun way of just like putting things together, make it sound so unique, and I really like that about Leek.
Like, so for Blanime, the way I met Leek, right? Me and they were interviewing Gumbo Goon Pat, and for Studio Maho, we were interviewing him on our pod, and he just, he pulled up with two of his homeboys, Kyle and Leek. I didn't know Leek, nothing, no prior. I didn't follow him on Twitter, nothing like that. So Leek came over, and we met Leek and everything like that. Leek is cool and everything like that. Then the next day we went to this anime trap brunch in Dallas. That was fun. Then I got to talk with him a little bit more, in a non-podcast interview setting and everything like that. I'm like, oh, Leek is kind of dope.
Leek was always like quiet, like more chill when I first met him. And now that, and knowing him then and versing on him now, he's still quiet and chill, like still quiet and chill and more like, laid back. But I also know Leek to be, he's quick with it when it comes to throwing shade, being petty, not in a bad way, in like the fun way that we always do on the show, both Worst Gen and especially Anime After Dark, and even especially behind the Worst Generation Twitter page, who many people may not know, that's the brains behind it. It's both GB and Leek, but it's especially Leek. And so Leek is very like quick with the comebacks, can keep up, portrays, like gives his thoughts and gives really good takes. And even if you don't agree with him, you see where he's coming from. So
we had came up with the idea to do like little versus matches called Run My Fades. Based off, I think our second podcast episode. I was like, bro, like we should do a versus match and call it Run My Fade, like, and just talk about it. And we did. I think the first one was like Soma versus Sanji or some shit like that. But we ended up taking those matches to Twitter. And he took that shit and ran with it. He come up with a whole lot of dope ideas. He started doing tournaments. So yeah, man, Leek is him.
I just appreciate Leek a lot. And I think it took for me to like meet him at DreamCon to realize like his quote unquote role as far as being in Worst Gen. Like even at the live show, like he still was the person that was, making sure the tweets were going out and making sure everybody was good, asking was everybody cool and everything like that. So like I really appreciate everything that he's done so far.
Then on top of that, like, Leek eventually, joined Worst Gen with GB and everything like that. And that's how I got to meet them through Leek. So like Leek is literally like the glue to everything. He is one of my favorite people. One of the most chill, laid back, all around good people, funny. Like he's like sleeper funny. Like he might not be as outlandish and stuff like me or Glove or GB or like that, but he is the most slept on funny person probably amongst us in Anime After Dark. So Leek is my guy for real.
The crazy thing is, like, when the Worst Generation podcast started, I was just doing it for fun.
Leek is that nigga, bro. Real close friends. One of the toxic boys, although, we toxic boys is washed at this point, but we still toxic boys when we want to be. So.
Because you could, like, if you met him face to face, you can see his facial expressions. Like, if he thinks something is some BS, he's just gonna be like, no. So it's that's how I see Leek then versus now.
I don't know what I would do without him. Like, I feel like if I was the head, like, he's the person that's bringing up the rear and making sure we good.
Just like a good rap crew, you always have to have your resident stoner.
Oh, Rome. Rome is a low-key menace as well. I know I get a lot of slack for being a menace, but Rome is really, he's one of them too. So
my name is Romaine. Most people know me as Rome, but I'm best known as Lettuce.
Mr. Lettuce, aka Master D.
And that's primarily because my name is Romaine.
Outside of like the back and forth that Mike and Rome do, which is hilarious.
It's like kind of the resident weed smoker, which I love.
That nigga can chief, bro. If you know what I mean. Him and GB are the chiefers, but Rome really got him beat all the time.
Rome is by far the funniest member of the Worst Generation podcast.
Rome might be my favorite person on the pod, on Anime After Dark. I fucking love Rome. I feel like he's the heart of what we do.
Podcaster, part of the Worst Generation Podcast. I'm a mod on Anime After Dark. I'm the founder of the Worst Gen HR hotline call. And I also do Lettuce Reviews, where I review anime, movies, TV shows, content that comes out that are pretty well known and popular. And we have general conversation and dialogue about that content and like how we feel about it, and like, you know, the things we like, things we didn't like, stuff like that.
Rome is also a founding father. He was there from the inception of Worst Generation Podcast. I think my biggest thing with Rome is that I've noticed how he's changed over the years. Rome used to be like super, like, I don't want to say nervous, but he used to be like super to himself. He didn't really want to talk much. He didn't know when he should talk, but like he's really grew into his own in this anime space and in this content creation space.
I've been on the AnimeAfterDArk for over, I think it's actually 4+ years now. We've been doing this journey with the gang. For Worst Generation, I've been on over 4+ years, and AnimeAfterDArk, it's been about like 3+ years now, or maybe 2+ years. I'm not really too sure. Like you're doing this for so long, you get lost in the actual time frame of how things are going, because I didn't even realize time moves so fast.
I remember one time we were at C2E2, and he was looking for like this I don't know, limited edition Hulk comic book. He was like, I gotta find it. I'm just like, bro, like the Hulk not that serious. What's going on? Like, why are you so deep about it? He's like, no, like the story is so dope. And then he would start explaining stuff about like the Hulk that I did not even know about, that it doesn't show you in the movies, it doesn't show you in the cartoons. It's like strictly comic book based.
Like being a figure, you know what I mean? Like having his own voice, having his own opinions, having his own, you know, everything, and not being afraid to speak, not being afraid to joke, not being afraid to, you know, do any of that stuff, and just stepping into the lane, becoming HR, doing voiceovers, which I thought was fucking fire. Like all of the voiceover joints he was doing with the HR calls, super great. Rome is a very, very good dude that you want to have on your team. Honestly, anybody need a nigga like Rome.
And the more you listen to him, if you listen to him during AnimeAfterDArk, anything that has to do with like Star Wars, Marvel, DC, even the world of like Harry Potter and other fantasy, like Lord of the Rings, he knows so much about those particular things that if you ever have a question about anything related to that, you already know who to go to, because he's going to know at least something about it. And if he doesn't, he's going to find out information about it and bring it back to you.
Rome was like kind of like similarly like calm and usually a little bit more like quiet when I first met him. But Rome is like one of the sweetest people I've ever met, and also absolutely hilarious. Like
Rome is also one of the most slept on funny people you'll ever talk to as well. I didn't know Rome that well prior to 2021, and then I think the first time me and Rome really talked was at DreamCon 2021, and we all stayed at the Airbnb together. And once I got to like meet and talk with Rome, I was like, oh, this guy is something. I see why you're a part of this group, because you are hilarious.
And one of the funniest members of the AAD podcast group. Like, Rome has interesting things to say that are so kind of like off topic that it'll catch you by surprise. Like, wait, what? Like, Rome, what are you talking about? And it's just funny because it's not in a place of negativity, but it's funny because Rome comes so far out of left field, and it's like that's his lane. Like, Rome is funny, and then he'll hit you with something that you're not expecting.
And even behind the scenes, outside of Worst Gen and outside of AnimeAfterDArk, always willing to text and check on you. Rome's just a sweet person and gives his takes. And
if you've noticed from like in all content, you can see like Rome just growing more into himself, to the point where I'm like super proud to say that he's doing spaces on his own.
It's like it's awesome to see. You know, he's having more of a like his foothold as far as content creation is growing bigger and bigger, and I can't be happier for him. Honestly, I'm very proud of him, I'll say.
He meshes very well with the people I like, so I fuck with Rome heavy, and he can take a joke, because I joke on Rome for being Jamaican every week, and he is down to joke back. Like he don't get sensitive or nothing like that. That's my guy. I love people that can take jokes. Rome is my guy for real.
Rome just always get better, like, and I think he's like at the center of it. He's the heart of what we do. I don't think there's anyone that doesn't like Rome ever. Like, it even has issues with Rome. Rome's just, he the center, bro. He's really cool, like really chill, and that's really all I can say about him. Like,
I'm me, and I'm trying to be better, trying to grow, trying to become, the next phenomenon. That's what you want to call it.
There's famous And then there's Tatted Poodle famous.
I am Michelle, aka Tatted Poodle.
Poodle.
My sister Greek, whatever.
A cosplayer
I am trying to drift away from calling Poodle the famous one.
and a content creator officially, professionally for 3.5 years.
I was so intimidated by Poodle because she's probably the one I've become cool with as the most recent, I guess, out of everybody.
And also, I am one of those people that likes to spread positive energy and positive affirmations into the world.
And she's such a famous and successful streamer and everything like that. Like,
We call her famous Poodle because she is technically famous. She doesn't want to admit it, but Poodle does a lot for the culture, with the gaming.
I'm trying to brand differently. The famous one started off as a joke. Poodle was like one of the first times where I had to tell myself that this may be bigger than what you think.
So Poodle first came to Worst Gen because GB didn't want it to just me be the only solitary female voice on the pod. So he talked to Poodle, and I had heard of Poodle, like, as far as Greeks in content creation and anime. Like, Poodle was one of the names that I always thought of.
I got put onto her after I crossed. So like when I crossed Kappa, I then got opened my eyes to this world of Greekdom, where that just so happened to mix Greek and nerd shit with Tatted Poodle. Because I saw her do a cosplay for Rock Lee, and I was like, yo, that's dope as hell. Like, I didn't know that there was a lot of other niggas that do this shit. He was like really the first introduction to me of black people doing nerd shit in a not nerd space. Like, being Greek was not, for all intents and purposes, not a nerd thing. You had to either be the coolest nigga ever or just like a nobody. You know?
We had Poodle on our radar. But at the time, Poodle was already like making her own streams, doing her own content, like had her own stuff going on. And so it was just kind of like, it would like, does not even shoot our shot. Like, she wouldn't even bother with something this small. Like, she wouldn't have time to do this. And so Poodle ended up reaching out to us and telling us that she wanted to like pod with us. Literally at the same time we were looking for someone, but we hadn't really went public about looking for people. We were just really trying to like size up the crowd.
So I appreciate Poodle because she brings the professional gaming perspective to the conversation.
Like, once you get to know her, she's like one of the homies for real. Like, she stayed with us at the Airbnb, and when I got to meet her in person, everything like that, it was just like all good vibes. Like, we were just like tight from there forward and everything like that.
She has a lot of insight on the content creation side, as far as like things that'll get us noticed more, things that we should cut back on, ways that we should edit, different things with thumbnails, different things with graphic design, stuff like that. She has a lot of input on that type of stuff.
And I always showed up to her streams and watched her do her thing on gaming, because I'm not a gamer at all, but I love that, we have the voice for gaming and it's her. And she gives her takes on gaming, and honestly, like, as far as a go-to person, she's who I would talk to about gaming.
She brings such a crucial part to everything with her background as a streamer, and just all around content creator. She does TikToks, all the different content pieces. Poodle is like top tier, and like, I don't know how we could do it like without her insight and everything like that.
Just as you said, Poodle, she has a very large personality. She's a fun person to be around. She's very entertaining, and as you can see, she does a lot.
Poodle, like, she brings this professional gamer perspective. Like, she see things from the other side of where you want to be. Like, you want to be somebody that is professional, that is like, you're recognized as a brand. Like, Tatted Poodle is a brand.
And I would say one thing about it, she's very motivational. Like, the thing that she does, she finds a way to make you like, really engage in it and really want you like, oh man, I can do that. Because she shows you that it's not just, anybody can do anything. Not just, you have to believe it in yourself, really. And she lets you know that, you have to believe in yourself and get it done. Like, currently she's on a fitness journey, and her journey is really just like her trying to, get better, find a better outlet, to be healthier. And that's been really motivational and inspirational for me lately. So I really like that about Poodle, her personality and just her inspirational personality, attitude.
Always available to like text and everything. Just honestly, just a real entrepreneur and publicizes her stuff, having her stuff together. Like, she's that girl.
Like, make no mistake, Tatted Poodle she's that one. Like, she's a brand. And like she brings that professional gaming perspective, and sometimes, especially being a woman, she gives you the black woman's perspective as a gamer, and that's a lot of times we don't get that perspective because I feel like that specific group in the community is often marginalized, and she gets to give us that insight that we don't normally get on a regular basis.
So I enjoy Poodle's takes, anime takes, gaming takes, her love of Rock Lee. It's like, you know, inside and out, she's beautiful, you know?
It was a big part of what we do. She doesn't always speak as much, but if you get a chance to hear Drunk Poodle on Anime After Dark, it is a treat. She talks some shit for real. So Poodle is definitely a great piece to the Anime After Dark collection.
She hates it, but we like, nah, like we speaking that into existence. Like, nah, you are her. Like, that's you. Like, you are that good. Like, you need to understand that when we say that, it's not us joking. It's just, nah, like you on that level. You might not see yourself at that level, but we see you at that level.
Because I don't think Poodle recognizes that when Poodle joined up with us, she joined up with people that were fans of hers. Like, at the time, we fucked with Poodle, but like, we were also fans of Poodle. Like, we were following her on Instagram, engaging with her content. Like, we were fans of Poodle. So when Poodle joined Dawn, it was kind of like one of your idols. Like, if you a rapper and you listening to somebody every day, and then bro is like, come on tour. Like, I'm here on tour with you. We doing these things together, but like, you still here to me. And Poodle she's been navigating the content sphere for so long that she's become like a consultant sometimes to me, just like for me to kind of push my ideas off of and see like, what do you think, what's going on? And Poodle's just solid. Like, she's always been down. She cares about her friends. She cares about the people around her. And I just love to see her shine, man. I think Poodle has a really, really bright future ahead of her. And yeah, I'm just happy to be a part of that ride with her.
Definitely fuck with her. I love her.
We have to talk about PandaDaDon.
PandaDaDon.
PandaDaDon is the first lady of the Worst Gen podcast, was the first woman that we ever reached out to.
My name is PandaDaDon. I am a member of both Worst Gen and Anime After Dark.
Panda is definitely a walking anime dictionary.
That's just what she is. She is PandaDaDon.
I don't even know if it's a word to describe Panda. She's the person that when she's serious, she's going to give you a perspective and nuance to the conversation that you might not have thought of.
Podcaster, host of the Tabernacle of Boji, also the host of Wholesome Panda Hour.
She has a very large personality at all. She definitely has a way of commanding the crowd. And like, but one thing I say about Panda that no one really understands, maybe they don't understand, but she's very caring.
And then, but outside of that, she's fun. She's going to say something that's going to catch you off guard, that you're going to be like, come on, bro, like, can you relax? But at the same time, that's Panda. Like,
Panda has a way to, like, you know, she cares about people. She cares about when that everyone's getting heard. So whenever we're having a conversation, she's always going to make quiet down, let someone speak. She wants people to be heard, and she doesn't want people to be talked over at all. And I really like about Panda. She has a way to always command, like, you know, not just the conversation, but just command the crowd with her personality. And people love that about her, and I love that about her. Panda's always fun to be around, always entertaining. She's really great.
And she came in and was an instant hit. My favorite thing about Panda, and probably sometimes the most frustrating thing about Panda, is the wealth of knowledge that she holds. Her mind, and just everything that she knows. Panda is a student of pretty much everything. Like, that's what she does well.
We came across Panda. It was actually crazy. In that same group chat I was telling you about that I met GB in earlier, she got into an argument. My favorite memory of Panda, yo. We discovered her because she got into an argument with a guy in a group chat about Naruto fillers. So I guess the context of the conversation was the guy said Naruto, like, things that were canon in Naruto were filler. He called them filler, and it was clear that he didn't really know what filler was. He considered filler to be anything that wasn't action related to the plot. So even if it was like just character development or just building the plot with dialogue or whatever, he felt like that is filler. Like, that's not actually story. And so Panda really got on his ass about that. can actually talk. She can get that shit off. Perfect. So yeah, we had invited her to hop on, and yeah, the shit was lit ever since then. But that was my favorite. That's my favorite memory of Panda, yo. She was spazzing on bro ass for not knowing what filler was. That was great.
She's not faking it. That's her. That's authentically Panda. So it's like Panda is a person that when the conversation is going on, you waiting for her to chime in because it's gonna be something really fucking funny or really fucking crude.
So Panda, funny enough, I don't even know how me and Panda became so cool, but like, I think I did. Me and Panda became cool because I was trying to spite Love and GB. So I remember that I went on a Worst Gen pod, like they were interviewing me, and I told them, I was like, I'm about to rank y'all members right quick. And so I let them know straight up. I think I barely even knew Panda. I was like, Panda's my favorite out of all y'all, just to spite them. And then we literally ever since then, me and Panda call each other favorites. So
on quote unquote camera or Anime After Dark, she's known as like either the very the person that does a lot of things that I wouldn't say. I wouldn't say. She's like brave enough to just not care and, you know, be herself. She doesn't care like who says what. She's just gonna say how she feels.
And she curated a whole like when she started curating like the heinous open sexuality type spaces, and maybe it was me, but I wasn't seeing those type of things on my timeline. And now I've seen people kind of like be more open about sex and how they feel. And I might have my disagreements about like how open I want to be with that type of shit on Twitter and with random people, but I still recognize the game of like she's made that space possible for a lot of people.
She is definitely one of the most well-spoken and insightful people for the pod, and I love that Panda's part of it because she gives the female perspective, the woman perspective that we need. So it just doesn't sound like a bunch of meathead ass niggas talking all the time. So Panda brings a lot to the table, and her insight on the stuff that she likes. She can watch anime probably more than anybody. She did 100 anime watch, I think in 2021, where she literally watched 100 anime in a single year. And I'm like, I can't watch but 10 in a year sometimes. I feel like it. So Panda brings a lot to the table, and I'm so happy she's part of everything.
But either way, it's gonna make you laugh, and it's gonna make you just like, all right, bro, like, come on.
People think that she's like this tough girl, like on Anime After Dark. She's the sweetest person in person. She's the sweetest person when you meet her in person. Oh, that should be a bar. Anyway, so that's why I say like I feel like it's two sides to it when it comes to when you meet her in Anime After Dark and then versus when you meet her in person.
Outside of Worst Gen, even before Worst Gen, I wasn't doing anything content creation wise. Like I was kind of like on my own as far as liking anime. I just knew there were people who liked it too, but I wasn't part of a specific collective. I was just focused on school and my career. So it wasn't something that I made into a content creation segment until after I joined Worst Gen. And it's, you know, all uphill from there.
At this point, you definitely can see like she's curated her own community as well, like Panda, Wholesome Panda Hour that is on another Twitter space that she does, and just people come just for Panda to interact with Panda and get into some more scandalous conversations with Panda than I think she gets to have all the time through us. But I think that's cool to watch like this little friend group. That's like a proud OG moment for me just to see, because Panda didn't want to stream or do any of those things at first. Like I think, you know, we came in not knowing if content was our bag or who wanted to do what. We were just people that got together to pod and talk when it was easy. And so to watch Panda kind of go off into her own venture and she's making spaces and now she's streaming on Twitch, like that shit dope as hell.
Not to mention, she can clear a chicken bone. On a calm summer evening, you can find yourself scrolling on Twitter, minding your business, when all of a sudden, he wakes up. Mike has earned himself the reputation of being the villain of the timeline on multiple fronts, but through conversation and interviews, we discovered Mike may not be the villain the world thinks he is.
Who am I? I am Unbothered Mike. I'm a co-creator of AnimeAfterDArk, podcaster of Blanine Podcast. I do a little bit of everything. Some might call me a timeline menace, depending on who you talk to. You know, I just do a little bit of everything. You know, I'm an entertainer. Is all I can really tell you.
Mr. Mike Blanine, that's his name on my phone.
My fave.
Mike, he wears a mask, and I don't care if he sees this.
What's the crazy thing is, I actually met Mike in person before I met the rest of our whole pod in person, right?
Mike is my arch nemesis.
Became the villain of the time, not just the villain in general. But
Rivals, legit. Rivals, like me, him, and GB are just like literally a triangle of rivals.
Arch rival is what we really joke as, but
like we all try to one up each other. We all give each other shit.
Because he is definitely talking about something. He's the most wholesome person. I'm the most wholesome person. And you've seen 100 episodes. I had to be Mike for that episode. And researching him, he is nowhere near wholesome. The only thing that's wholesome about him is being an amazing father. That's it. Everything else, when you see his timeline, he think people not watching or people don't see. No, he's not wholesome at all. I think
I met Mike in Sine a few years ago. That was my first introduction to like Black anime community as far as like people being podcasts. Because Mike live in Dallas. I'm from Arlington, Texas, so he's 20 minutes away.
I call my fave names outside in AnimeAfterDArk. But honestly, like if anyone tries to fight, like tries that man on the timeline, they gonna get a text. It's just whatever. That's like my older brother, my older pale brother. He's gonna kill me when he hears this.
And Mike and me have a funny relationship. It's rough being two heads of the beast, and I think that's made us even more rivals and even more friends. Like you got to respect the fact that someone is doing this with you, and like we putting this thing together, and we kind of like shaping something from nothing.
Because Mike is one of the most caring people out there, honestly. He's a very caring father. He cares about people's feelings and well-being. So I don't know how he became a villain, but I guess it's just when you're the villain, and just take the card to take the mantle. So I guess that's what he is.
As I noticed how big of an internet personality the nigga was, like he was going viral all the time. Like he was always giving women shit. He always had a whole lot of different takes about, you know, just anime shit or just life shit, really.
That's like my older brother, who I really appreciate, like our relationship and how it's grown and how, you know, we joke with each other, we make fun of each other, but at the end of the day, if something, you know, happens or if there's like an issue, we can talk about it and everything like that. And honestly, like Mike, you know, I give Mike his flowers for being behind Blanine's Instagram, like not Instagram, like Twitter page, and how he does that and how he's a menace on the timeline and how he gets his own takes and handles AnimeAfterDArk. Honestly, I give Mike his flowers, and even outside of that, as a father, as a person, as a friend, as a kind of a surrogate brother.
I have been podcasting since January of 2019. It started, the idea came late 2018 to start podcasting with my best friend Sine, and we got it all together and started from 2019. So I guess that's 4 years now. If I did that math right, yeah, we've been going strong for a while now.
But I like Mike for his caring personality. He's a nice guy overall, and he has a way of just like, you know, bringing the calmness to the actual show and stuff. Yeah, you know, he's on the soundboard, and you always know the right song, the right sound bites to hit you with, and just make it very entertaining, make it funny. So Mike is always just like, you know, he's a class act for sure, man, and I love that. But
then also heads do butt a lot. Our personalities are very different, and I think it's just caused our relationship to kind of be something that is different from other relationships in my life. Like I have someone who, like I gotta go to war with and go to war against all the time, and that's made like a really cool relationship. It's something like an anime, like a Goku and Vegeta type thing, and that's kind of what our relationship has become.
But Mike is honestly one of the most genuine people you will ever meet. Like Mike is such a good dude that I don't think he gets enough credit for, because he keeps putting himself on the top. Like, he makes himself the villain in so many situations, and it's really for us. And I don't think people understand that. Mike makes himself the villain for us. So people need to actually appreciate Mike and give him his flowers, because he does a lot for the community.
Yeah, bro. We really just jumped straight into it. Like, we didn't have a whole lot of planning. We was just like, all right, man, we just gonna learn on the go. Like, we did not do any kind of real meetings and nothing like that. Like, we just like, let's jump into it and chop it up and just see how this works. And it worked out.
Mike is also a jokester. I think that was the biggest takeaway from when I first listened to their podcast. I'm like, this guy's funny. Like, he plays that role. He is the funny guy. But he's also funny with the internet shit too. Obviously, being funny in real life and being funny on memes and shit like that is two different arts. So, but yeah, he can do both. And yeah, I was like, man, I like niggas like that. So
outside of us being enemies, because he's a Dallas Cowboys fan and I'm an Eagles fan, Mike's cool. He's very helpful. He's always like there when you need him. As far as like, sometimes, people have bad days. What Meg Thee Stallion saying, bad bitches have bad days. Like, even when you have those bad days, if you need somebody to talk to or somebody to just express yourself around, Mike is a really good resource to be able to talk about just anything, especially because his sleep schedule is so bizarre.
Once Mike got brought into the fold, as far as the AAD conversation came, I just knew it was gonna work, because like Mike is gonna bring his side, his rambunctious side to these conversations, while the Worst Gen crew was always gonna be more of the conversationalists, the ones that are trying to have deep thought about certain things. So I think it was gonna be the perfect medium.
I fuck with Mike heavy. I think without him being able to be charismatic and have the influence on Twitter, the impact that he has through his tweets, I don't know that AnimeAfterDArk would have blown up as fast as it was blowing up at first. But like, people come just to be around Mike at the start of this and like had those conversations and talk and joke with Mike. And I was just over here being able to put in like some intellectual convo and get some more serious topics off and do this shit. And like, we slowly found that mix, that blend to just make everything work.
That's my motherfucking fave, and nothing's gonna change that. And I could joke with him like that, but nobody else can.
I would say he's a really reliable person, but he likes to lie. He's not nobody's wholesome at all.
The shot heard round the world is a phrase that has been used to describe events of historical significance, like the beginning of the American Revolutionary War, or the shot that killed Archduke Ferdinand and plunged Europe into World War I. Something more potent than a shot was heard in the last 2 weeks. It was a laugh. The laugh heard round the world.
Glove? I call him Sensei, but some people call him Glove.
I am Sensei LeGlove, the bald head black anime nerd.
Oh man, look at this. I call Sensei my other brother because, like, honestly, Sensei is kind of my brother in causing just overall like pettiness and destruction in the spaces. Not necessarily on the timeline, but just in spaces in general.
Glove is my nigga and my brother. And funny enough, we got the same birthday.
I am a resident One Piece YouTuber.
Sensei LeGlove. What can I say about Sensei LeGlove that nobody even knows?
I also review anime. I also review manga. I also talk anything nerd culture.
This guy is the epitome of a Chicago nigga. Like, I don't think I really knew too many people from Chicago, and then once I met Glove, I'm like, okay, this is what y'all are striving to be.
He knows when to pick his spots so well in the conversation.
And anything nigga related.
Yo, he is Sensei LeGlove, and even though he's the loudest one, and people might say he's loud, but for me, I see less passion.
So they also call me Hemsworth LeGlove.
His Glove is literally probably the most hilarious person in the world to me. Like, he will make anything funny, anything.
As I am him in most spaces.
First of all, if you need to see the definition of like a true extrovert, like the extrovert that people like think of, Sensei's picture would be smack dab right there in the dictionary.
We met because we're in the same fraternity and we was in a group chat. And our first conversation, he dropped when he first made his YouTube page. He dropped it on the group chat, and I was like, "Damn, yo, you went to anime?" Like, we got to talking. Same birthday, same favorite manga at the time, One Piece, and we just had so much in common. So me and Glove kind of hit it off from the start.
Sensei is also like absolutely hilarious, and you know, being loud and very extroverted. I appreciate that about Sensei. Sensei adds kind of, I don't want to say comedic relief because I feel like that doesn't do what his role is justice. But Sensei really just gives the like a lot of, I'm gonna say, flavor.
That it flows so naturally, and you can't help but laugh. And when you laugh, it's gonna make him laugh because it's so much stuff. Because Glove is a dude from Chicago, and Chicago different from everybody else. Like Chicago is a whole separate culture. So Glove will ask about some shit that's going on. He's like, "Wait, you talking about? Like, are you serious?" And before you know it, Glove is laughing, and Glove has the most infectious laugh.
That laugh, anytime he starts laughing, the world stops.
And honestly, if you don't hear Sensei's laugh at least once, then you're missing out because it is the greatest thing ever. And you can tell it's a laughter from like deep down in his stomach to outside.
Because you just gotta wait till that laugh is done. Because you can't do nothing else but laugh. You just gotta sit there and take it.
Because he just gives zero fucks. He don't care who he's around. He's gonna make friends with everyone. He's gonna make sure everybody's having a good time. He's gonna make sure everybody's laughing. Like Sensei's just all around just energetic person. I'm an introvert, and even when I'm around Sensei, sometimes that secret extrovertedness comes out of me because I'm around Sensei.
Because one thing about Sensei, he's passionate about what he talks about, either be anime, One Piece, or just any general topic that we're talking about. And that's when people don't really understand. Like, it's not him being loud, it's just him being passionate about the thing that he wants to talk about. And he's shown that passion in his voice and how he speaks about certain things. And he wants people to understand that. And I understand that for sure. But I want people to know that he's not just being loud, he's just passionate about what he's talking about. And I really love that about Sensei. So he's not just a laugh. He's a really good guy, he's really caring, and he's very passionate about what he's talking about.
I think one of the funniest comments I heard when it comes to me and Glove is like, Glove would be the main character of a shonen, and I would be the main character of a seinen. And I think that kind of speaks to the differences in tone of how we are. Like, Glove's finna be out there. He's very extroverted. Like, he's finna talk. He's finna kick it. But he also has, and a lot of people don't notice about him, but he also has like his deeper side. Like, bro got his times when he want to be quiet and be in his bag, and we just really connect.
It gives flavor to both Worst Gen and to AnimeAfterDArk. But even outside of Sensei as just this extroverted, very funny, very, very like ignorant personality. And Sensei is one of the most understanding people that I ever met in my life. And it's surprising to an extent because, you know, you don't usually associate that with people who are a little bit more extroverted in my mind.
He's one of the most confident people you'll ever meet. Good-hearted people, and you know, Glove is the most, you know, how do I put this without shitting on it too bad? Glove is toxic, but he's like the toxic person you want to be around. Like, he will say some stuff and you be like, you know what? I see where you were going, but you didn't have to say it like that. But it's Glove, so it's like, you know what? He's authentic to himself, so.
To put it simply, that's my dog, and I appreciate him for what he brings as both a mod to AD and the podcast to Worst Gen, and just a friend. Because, like, you know, we be here.
If Leek has been like the anchor, kind of making sure like everything comes together, and Rome has been like the heart, I think Glove has kind of been, he's definitely been the voice in my ear. I look to Glove to kind of tell me, you know, kind of help steer me and shit a lot. Like, we kind of move in these same directions of thinking, and sometimes when there's a lot going on, I'm stressed out, I have a tendency to just overthink and be stuck on a decision. Like, fuck, I don't know what I'm gonna do with this. Like, I don't know what's happening. I look to Glove in those moments, kind of just be in my ear, like, and the conversations that we have kind of just sets me on the right spot.
Glove's laugh it don't make any sense because when it comes, it's like, man, you just gotta like wait for it. You can't even try to talk over the laugh because it's not gonna work. You just gotta wait. You can't even talk over. You gotta let him finish. Glove can stop the whole pod with that laugh, man. Most of the time it's at my expense too, and I can't say nothing. It's just like, all right, I'm laughing now too because Glove is laughing. Even if I'm mad, I gotta laugh.
If you hear his laugh, you know exactly who it. You could literally be at a con, not know where he's at, and if you hear him laughing, that's that dude from AnimeAfterDArk. That's Glove. Where he at? And you're gonna know that that's Glove.
Every dynasty needs its captain. You had Jordan with the Bulls. You had Kobe with the Lakers. You had LeBron with, well, LeBron was with multiple teams, but you get where I'm going with this one. And it's no different for AnimeAfterDArk. And their captain, the mastermind behind it all, is the one and only GB.
GB, in a word, is a genius.
General Beckford,
Hey, the captain of the ship.
aka the third.
This guy,
The brains of the operation.
that's my brother, man. Like,
GB is the captain, man.
GB hit you with the fact.
I'm GB. I'm the host, producer, captain, whatever you want to call it for the Worst Generation podcast.
First of all, me and that nigga GB got the same birthday, so like that was like that's weird. We love the same anime. Well, our favorite anime is the same.
He's not going to be the person to like baby anyone, not in a bad way when I say this. He's more like the voice of reason, more than, what is it, like not being optimistic but being real, I guess, like realistic. It's another word for it. I'm bad with words because English is hard, but it's a word out there that's explaining what I mean.
And I don't toss around the word genius very lightly or often at all, but GB is honestly a genius. The way GB can manage personalities, the way he can bring a vision to life, the work that GB puts in behind the scenes that people don't understand. Like, GB puts in a lot of work.
And of course that seems obvious, but like people don't understand, like both in Worst Gen and AnimeAfterDArk, it's like if we get on there and we talk our talk and go after it's all over, we go about our business. But GB is like, this is his baby, both Worst Gen and AnimeAfterDArk. This has been his baby since I know the beginning.
like I said, GB is one of the creators that like I try to strive to make sure I'm up at least at minimum on his level. He thinks in a way that a lot of people don't think.
Is just a person that loves to have conversation, interact with the community, because that's what I started for. That's why I got into podcasting, was to speak with people and have discourse.
Like he has the most unorthodox like thinking path, and it's like it's so professional, it's so perfect, and it's just like, how did he get here? And I can't even explain GB. GB is one of a kind person.
One thing I say about GB, he knows how to navigate through the waters of anything that he's doing. He finds the one thing I really admire about GB is his way for him to get things done and how he goes about getting those things done with a logical, methodological way. And I can never do those things, but GB always knows the right thing to do, or always know how to go about certain things. Like he has a very, I wouldn't say like a strict, or just like, like a lot. He's pretty logical when it comes to like how he does things, but I always love how GB just goes about getting things done. Like he's very knowledgeable, he's very intelligent, and he knows how to like put his words together. Like I always tell GB like, the way that you say things and how you break things down is amazing. It's like I can't even do that. Like I try my best, but the way that he breaks things down just makes it seem so like detailed and very profound and well thought out.
GB puts in the work before and after we're all done, and I appreciate that, because without that there would be neither AnimeAfterDArk or Worst Gen.
And I think that a lot of people need people like that around when it comes to just a friendship. I'm talking like outside of just AnimeAfterDArk, because a lot of times people don't realize like we talk outside of AnimeAfterDArk, like everybody, like the whole crew. Some stuff is about anime, other stuff is about just like real life shit. And I think that GB has always been that person to like be the voice of reason, not just obviously with me, but the crew in general.
And I really admire that about GB, along with his captain skills. He's the leader of the group. He's one of the people that started the Worst Gen. He's always like held it down for everyone. He finds ways to put things together. He found us all, and he knew the right people was gonna do the right job. And so I guess he has an eye for talent.
it's just a lot. We both from Chicago, we both Kappas, so like it's almost like we was kind of destined to meet in a sense. I met him. I reached when I started my YouTube channel, I put in our national noob chat, Kappa chat, like, hey, if any of y'all are into nerd shit, I just started a YouTube channel, subscribe, fuck with me. And he was the first one to respond, like, yo, Noop, I got a chat that I could throw you in. It's a whole lot of Greek nerds and shit. I'm like, yeah, throw me in there. I'll put my shit there.
And we couldn't make this thing work without him. Like it wouldn't work. Like he keeps us together. He organizes us. Me and him chopping up on topics. We try to make sure the show is always growing. We try to improvise. Like he, audio editing, all that stuff. He's the Swiss Army knife of podcasting. Like he really can do it all.
Really, the GB that y'all see is a work in progress. Like when I started the podcast and who I was at the time of starting the podcast was very much myself. But when it came to talking that talk and just being on my shit all the time, like I'm definitely finna talk shit when it comes to, shit I'm doing competitively, but just on a daily basis, that was not me.
Joy. Like there's not enough words that you can say to honestly big up GB, because GB honestly doesn't get the flowers he deserves all the time, but he literally is, it wouldn't function without him. There's some people, if they're gone for a week, gone for a month, the show can go on. It's not GB. The show does not work without GB.
Honestly, truly. And the work he puts in is appreciated, even if I don't say it as much. The work he puts in is appreciated. How he approaches every topic and proposed topic is with understanding and logic. Is just really appreciated, because I tend to look at things from my perspective, but hearing his perspective is just like, I see what you mean.
He's just a great dude. I appreciate it. It's not I can't say how much I appreciate him for putting us in this position as far as like the Worst Generation podcast, and the production and the time and the effort and the money that he put into getting us to where we are. Obviously, that's a lot. That says a lot to be able to do that dolo for 4 years.
And I appreciate him a lot for not only believing in each individual that's a part of Anime After Dark, but believing in himself, because like doing something like this, him and Mike doing something like this where it started off as something just chill, it's like me with content creating. Like you started off with like a hobby, just chilling, just making a community, and now you're building it into an empire that can eventually be something bigger than yourself.
And it's like he's such an invaluable piece, a part of Anime After Dark, man. And I'm glad that like he agreed to to do this with me, so we could like make this shit work for real. Because like I know for a fact I couldn't have gone to anybody else and made this exact pod how Anime After Dark came out.
And as we growing in this game, and I'm realizing that I'm really him, and I've been doing the thing, and I can see the community that's built itself around not just Worst Gen Pod, but what I've done with Anime After Dark and how we kind of just spread our way out. There are streamers and other podcasts and other Twitter spaces that are all just kind of branching off from us. And whether they came from our community or a sub-community, or they met someone in the community and met more people through our community, I'm just seeing the influence that we've had. And so I'm learning to have confidence and be self-confident and self-assured in the fact that these are all coming from directly from my work. But that was not me at the start of this process. Like I was definitely like, oh yeah, I'm cool, it's whatever, I'm doing the thing. But at this point now, like we've done so much, and I still consider myself like a small person in the grand scheme of things, and I think that's true. But like I've managed to have a major impact, like much larger than what my actual footprint is, and that's a hard thing for me to come to grips with sometimes, and that's probably why I don't just be big up in myself all the time, because in my mind, like I'm still GB.
Enough cannot be said about GB and the hard work that he does, not only for Worst Generation Podcast, but also for AAD, and just any of his own solo shit. Like he really cares like dearly about content creation. Like he the type of nigga that'll drop anything to make sure his content and shit is spot on. There's much respect for that, bro. So shout out GB.
I appreciate you for what you bring, for everything you do, and everything that is not both behind the scenes and in front of the scenes is all appreciated.
And there you have it, Anime After Dark. Well, not so quite. Let's take it back to the beginning and see how this collective came about.
Actually, really interesting. So I became a part of the Worst Gen and Anime After Dark Blanime collective. Hilarious what you did there.
You know, I'm not going to toot my own horn, but the idea for Anime After Dark was started by myself and Eugene Blackman.
That was actually a subject that started because of we had a little hiatus during the period where we were transitioning through called the Worst Generation Podcast. So the idea came between Mike and GB to do Anime After Dark.
So on my side of things, we have been doing Worst Generation Podcast for roughly a year. I'll say 2 years, a little bit over 2 years. And when Mike had approached me, Mike of Blanine Podcast, when he had approached me, Spaces, it was mid-COVID, for the start of COVID, it was around March-ish. And Spaces, Clubhouse particularly, because Twitter Spaces was not a thing yet. Clubhouse had been blowing up, but I hated Clubhouse. Every time I got on Clubhouse, it felt like just chaos. It didn't seem like controlled spaces or anything.
DB was, for all intents and purposes, the producer of our show or our podcast. He did all of the legwork. He did all of the edits. He did all of that. He developed a closer relationship with Mike at Blanime, because Mike was that for Blanime.
It was 2021. It was early 2021. Me and Sine just did a pod with GB and Leek. I think it was a Tagashi pod. We was just talking about Yu Yu Hakusho. We was talking about Hunter x Hunter. And we did a pod, and then that was around the time that we was all still inside because COVID was still super unknown at that time. It was early 2020.
And Mike approached me hey, I think we should do a clubhouse. We should make a clubhouse. Because we had been talking behind the scenes, and we had hit on some similar things about what we wanted from podcasting.
Strange Keith, he did a show called The Love Game. And they would it was basically a matchmaking game on Clubhouse. And the concept was so fucking dope. And that was one of the first rooms that I saw that made it really organized. It was organized, people come up, ask the questions. I was oh, this is a show. And then I just sat with that one day. I was damn, we could do this shit with anime, but just bring up people for topics and make it organized, make it funny, blah, blah, blah. And then so I ran the idea by GB, because GB being one of my favorite creators that I've met since I started podcasting. And I was hey, bro, get on Clubhouse, because he will tell you himself he hated Clubhouse. He did not want to be on the app. He didn't want nothing to do with it. And I was hey, bro, listen, get on there. I'm gonna put you in some rooms. We can low key put something together and make a show out of this.
And so I was that's cool, bro, but I don't want to just make a clubhouse in this chaos. So Mike basically was all right, bro, if you come up with the plan, the outline, the theme, the vibe, whatever, and figure that out.
And apparently they came together and decided, hey, you're really good. Mike appreciated that GB was really good with conversations and topics and things that people really want to talk about. And Mike was really just the personality, a great personality that GB appreciated at the time. He was a huge personality, could bring a ton of people because he attracts attention, whether it's positive or negative is neither here nor there, but he attracts attention. So they thought, hey, let's come together as the two bigs of the community.
So I finally convinced him to get in, and he kind of saw where I was trying to take it. And we kept brainstorming, every day we would talk. And eventually we came up, I think he came up with the name Anime After Dark. And then we just started adding people.
I remember GB telling me, they wanted women on the pod for the show, because it's not just a pod, it's an actual show. They wanted women on there to give their own takes, because they didn't want it to just be a male dominated space.
So they knew that I already was talking about anime culture with Worst Gen, and they asked me did I want to do Anime After Dark.
In the beginning, I wasn't a part of it because I was working overnight, and this show is primarily done in the late night segment of the night. So I was always missing it, or I was always at work, so I was always listening. I wouldn't be able to participate. But once I finally was able to switch on my schedule and get it going, I was like, you know what, let me join this. So I spoke to GB. He said, yeah. And I was like, yeah. All right. So I joined up, I think about 2+ years ago. I think it was a couple months before we actually went to the live show and everything like that. And been up there ever since.
Mike was like, I'm going to pull up, bring the sounds. Because Mike had the only soundboard at first. So Mike was literally the gunshots and everything that we know for at this point.
We just started going. I think it was every Wednesday at that point. And it just the rest is history. It just turned from a clubhouse room where we was kicking it for 2 hours to now we damn near pod 6 hours every Thursday.
And of course I'm always down as long as the vibes is right. So I was like, yeah, I'm with it. And it just, kind of blew up. We just started going and it just became that. People just started loving it,
It's just completely shifted. And that was 2 years ago now. So yeah, we about to hit episode 100 this upcoming Thursday. I'm not going to toot my own horn.
But toot your horn, you should. See, Anime After Dark is not only just a collective of dope blerds who do a podcast. They curated a safe space every Thursday night that hundreds of people tune into to participate, to listen, to laugh, and to have a great time. So if you're not tooting your horn, allow us to toot it for you.
Pause.
So we know the members. We learned the story. Now we need to focus on the event at hand. DreamCon is an anime and gaming convention bringing together like-minded individuals to enjoy and celebrate multiple interests, including pop culture, comics, art, cosplay, music, and much more. And this convention is put on by none other than RDC World, one of the biggest Blerd collectives in the game. And their convention rivals some of the top conventions in the world, pulling in 3,000 plus attendees each year and growing. So yeah, this convention is kind of a big deal. But you know what else is a big deal? Being able to bring what you do online to people in real life. Anime After Dark is generally an online Twitter sensation. It takes over the hashtag every Thursday, but bringing that live is a different beast.
It was a pipe dream, really, you know what I'm saying? If we could do it, then but if we really get it, what would we even do? How is it even gonna work? Would this many people even show up?
And we were kind of stressed out about it because we was trying to, me and Glove had a bet about the show way early in the year.
I think I'm on record saying bro, I don't even think we get more than 30-40 people in there. Honestly, that's that was what I was thinking at the time.
So I was excited. I was nervous. I was just shoot, what are we going to talk about? I hope people come and support us. Of course, we know that our people who show up to Anime After Dark, on Twitter is going to show up.
You want to give yourself the confidence that you can fulfill your role, because everybody had a role. That was one thing that I think make the show work, because every single person had a specific role, and all you needed to do was focus on your role and get your role done. So once everybody had their roles and you know exactly what you need to do, you mentally prepare, you go over, you kind of simulate it in your head, okay, this is what I need to do, this is how I'm gonna play it out. I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna ask them this, I'm gonna make sure everybody's thorough with what they want to talk about when they get on stage. So now you're getting your confidence. It's okay, bro, we can do this. Even if it's 50 people in there, we gonna make it right for them 50 people that actually, fuck with us. And
I had been applying for different conventions and stuff, trying to get us a panel, trying to get us something, and it's just decline after decline after decline after decline for both Worst Gen Pod and Anime After Dark. I couldn't get accepted for anything. I didn't know what the fuck was going on. And then I finally got the notice from DreamCon. It was instant joy. I was elated. I think I took a shot. And then right after that, instant anxiety.
Scrambling to come up with something and making sure that it would stick and it would be dope, along with having bets with Mike about how many people was gonna show up. But yeah, once we got the logistics down as far as what room we're gonna be in, what the sound was gonna be like, what time it was gonna be, what day it was gonna be on, that's when it started becoming way more real.
At the time, I was the only one that lived in the area, so when we found out what room we was gonna be in, I literally got off work one day and went up to the convention and went and found where we're gonna be at, so we could figure out okay, this is how we're gonna do this, this, and this. This is how our audio is gonna be set up. This is how we're gonna do this. Like, it was like literally a job once we found out how it was gonna work out and everything like that.
The feeling started shifting into like, whew, all right, this is really happening. It became more of a butterflies, nervous feeling.
15-20 minutes later, it hit me like, oh, you got to come up with a whole show. Like, you got to come up with the panel for what we finna do for DreamCon. And I instantly took a screenshot of the email when I started feeling anxious, sent it to Glove, Leek, and Mike. And then I sent it to our AAD mods chat. And everybody was giving like the feedback. So it kind of put me on another high, like, I'm back here experiencing this moment with them for the first time. But then we all start talking about what we gonna do, what's it gonna look like, what's gonna happen.
We just make up kind of like a small microcosm. I don't know if I used the word correctly, but we're gonna say I did. A small microcosm of what makes up like a lot of Black anime nerds.
We were working day and night, you know, getting the bar for everybody to pull up and have something to drink on, and getting our audio set up with their system and everything like that, getting our mixers integrated with their system, and
niggas was nervous. Like niggas was nervous because they ain't never been on that stage. They ain't never been in front of people for show. Like niggas, like, it's different when you on the internet, and it's different when somebody looking at you speak. You know what I'm saying? Like, people, you breathing the same air as the motherfuckers that is listening to you. It's definitely a different feeling because you had to hold yourself in a different way. You can't lay back on your couch and say these things. You gotta say it with your chest out, or you gotta, you know what I mean? You have to project yourself and stuff like that. And some people may have never done that. You know what I'm saying? We got people in our crew who didn't start out being people that public spoke, or like was always the talkative one. A lot of people was just quiet, you know what I mean? Like, so yeah, a lot of niggas was nervous, man.
With 3,000 plus attendees potentially coming, I would be nervous as well. And much to their surprise, they packed the house.
Once we found like right before the show happened, like, we seeing people come in the building, like, hey, it's not a lot of people in here.
I looked in the room, I saw the room filling up, I saw the chairs, I saw the energy.
Was all these niggas in here for us?
My facial expression went from like, all right, whatever, to holy shit.
Like, do all these people know this shit is Anime After Dark? Like, what? Do they think it's a different panel? Like, I walked back outside the door to check, like, the little the agenda script that's on the doors.
It was a lot of people in there. Me and Glove had a bet. So but when me and Glove took a bet, I thought that we were gonna get assigned to one of the smaller rooms. So I was like, oh, we'll have 30, 40 people there. You know, it'd be some, light, intimate, and it'll be dope because just be all our core people in there.
I was trying to put us on the high side and was like, oh, we'll have like 200 people here.
I fully, knew that we would have the support of our people. Like, I thought it was going to be just a modest turnout, like no one's really heard of us, out in my mind at this time, outside of our community. And I'm not going to expect like, oh, a lot of people know about Anime After Dark. They know who we are. Like, I'm not that cocky.
Deep down, I knew we was them niggas, and I knew we was gonna rock that shit out. It was just about, the execution of it, really.
It was crazy, bro. Like, I couldn't. The best part of the show was when we got up on the stage and the seats started filling up, and I saw how many people were in there. Like, I couldn't believe it, bro. I was like, oh, we here now.
And it just is really like emotional for me because I'm just thinking like, damn, this is really what's really happening right now. We got all these people here wanting to watch, want to hear us, want to be a part of the actual community, and it was really amazing, to be honest. It was just amazing.
And I walked into the room, and this 700-person room was like filled up with people, and people were standing on the wall and like standing around. It blew my mind. And so that's the second thing I remember: the people, the love, the support that we got, and how many folks showed up for the show. And it just like, it blew me away. I was not expecting that many people to show up at all.
Like, Twitter, Anime After Dark always has good energy on Twitter Spaces, but this energy felt different even before, because I went in and changed clothes, got food, and I came back. And I'm seeing a line of people trying to get drinks and lined up for our stuff. And then the energy in the room, the excitement, the the nerves. It was the biggest thing I remember is just the excitement of seeing our people seeing us do great, and new people seeing us for the first time and having this experience.
So I think that just thinking about the situation, we were at DreamCon and he needed help with this wig. If you didn't know, he did a Hunter x Hunter cosplay where he had to wear like this gold wig, and you know he's bald headed, so he like, fix me up gang. I'm like, all right, look, next time you need a lace front because this ain't gonna work. This is not doing it.
That was a part of like when I was saying like I was nervous, like that was a part of the nervousness. I'm not gonna know these niggas. I don't know these niggas in real life. I'm just now meeting these motherfuckers. I only know you off either your Abby or your Twitter name. I don't see nan one of them because you ain't looking the same as what I, you know what I'm saying? So now I'm really having to like really like search through the crowd or like, you know, think about motherfuckers I've met today, or just people that I know and just like really play along with it, like what's going on. God, like, thank God it was like some like famous motherfuckers in there, so I could like really take time to catch my breath by shouting them out because I know exactly who they are, and then like get my eyes on people that I knew and shit like that. So yeah,
there was this guy and he just had a sign over in the left hand side of the room. Like, I'm trying to remember what the sign actually said. I think it says he's looking for his anime bay. And in that moment, I'm looking like, that's so funny as shit, because like this is literally like this is what you expect. Like, you know, this is something that you might see on Twitter. You might and so it just made me realize that like we brought the Twitter aspect of like, you know, that live show to the actual real world.
I forgot who it was, but the girl saying the ER word like super hard. I was like, girl, I know this con was made by black men, but you can't just be going around saying the ER like that. Like, oh my goodness, that was a surprise.
For the discussion that went out that night, especially when one guy said some wild take, and you just saw the whole room explode with just like, oh hell no, that's not. And then people just running around, and it's like that whole environment was just so like magical to see it actually happen, because this is what you see on Twitter.
Like it was a lot of crazy shit going on, a lot of hot takes that was terrible.
I think people reacting to the Twitter timeline when they were using the hashtag. Somebody tried to trigger me though, talking about some Rock Lee was trash. I was like, I'm gonna find you. I'm literally gonna find you, and I'm going to get you. Like, that's don't think that you're off the hook.
Man, that was so fun. That was hilarious. Seeing the hashtag work as we're all here in person was like, I couldn't. That was a great thing to see, and everybody was gasping at certain things that was on the hashtag. That was hilarious to see it all play out in person.
It was so many good vibes, so many good feelings, so many good people. I just loved every minute of it. Like, I get goosebumps thinking about it. So yeah.
People showed us mad love, and you can never be more happy than to get the real genuine love that the people gave us.
I'm like, we them niggas. Like, that was all I could say. Like, obviously, so after the show was over, I called out that we was gonna do another kickback that night. I was not supposed to do that. So like, this was all off of just excitement and just the rush of just being like lit off of the show, doing well, and us having a good time, and niggas loving us, and us having a room rocking, and like it was all off that. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, hell yeah, bro. We kicking it. Party ain't over. Like, niggas like, no. I'm like, man, fuck that. We them niggas. Like,
okay, part of me wanted to shed a tear, but I didn't shed a tear, so it's a win. But it's just when you're here with that energy of excitement from other people for your stuff and how it all turned out, you can't replace it. It's not something you can get easily. It's I don't want to say once in a lifetime. It comes once every blue moon. It's not often that you get that type of good energy, full of excitement. Like, there's nerves, of course, but it's just like, damn, we really did this shit. We're really here right now.
After the show, man, I was honestly just on a high. I was just like so, like, you know, mind blown that this shit even happened. Like, I didn't even know what to even think. You know, after a moment, like something like just you don't expect to happen, it happens, and you just have to sit back and just like think back, damn, that shit really happened. You gotta think back to yourself, like, yo, like, how do you even move forward to that? How do you even find a way to top that? How do you find a way to even acknowledge that your dreams have come to reality, and now you were looking at like the world differently because like this shit actually is real. You can actually reach the thing that you want to say you want to do, and it happened and it's accomplished. And now after the live show and seeing how the great recognition we got, everyone loved it. Now I was just thinking like, damn, how long can we keep going like this?
When you think about people winning the weekend, AnimeAfterDArk and their whole collective definitely did that. I mean, you gave the world something that they will remember for years on. And that is no easy feat. That is something that needs to be applauded and something that needs to be heralded. And that is exactly what we're doing here at Geekset.
You know, just like Toonami had its segments, imagine a A&D segment on like a cartoon show before like a whole Toonami block. Or like just actually having a block itself on a Toonami. That would be amazing. Having a segment where just anime fans come together, talking about anime right before anime, you know, show, like that would be, or even better, it's like even hosting a whole Toonami segment like that would be really dope.
In an authentic way, how can we capitalize on this, but like still stay to our authentic perception of like what AnimeAfterDArk is?
I know if more people knew about us, if more people tuned in, we could have 1,000 people in there easily. So that's the goal. It's like, all right, well, we're gonna celebrate this success. And if we get another panel next time, we need to do this bigger because more people need to be a part of this. And I feel like more people need to be in that room to get those same feelings, like to be amongst the people that are like them, like-minded people, and have a good time and then not be no BS on the side of it. Like, that's the goal for next year.
Definitely we want to rock DreamCon again this year in Austin and make sure that show was even bigger than the show was in Arlington.
I also hope that we could do it not just at DreamCon, but at other conventions, because with every crowd, like every convention, you're gonna have a different crowd.
After that show, it's almost like I could see a glimpse of being, you know what I'm saying, an RDC type person, you know what I mean? I had never saw that before. I just saw me as just me, you know what I mean? Like I never had goals of being the best One Piece YouTuber or being the richest One Piece YouTuber. Like I just wanted an outlet because I couldn't get it off nowhere else.
You know, you never know. It could end up, we've talked about, you know, merchandise. We talked about live show tours, like going on tours to like select cities where our fan bases are. If you know me, you know I've got a notebook of ideas. It's just all about timing and resources and like what I can do with the ideas. So, but I think the biggest thing is next is just us trying to continue to grow.
Just know that we'll follow you guys wherever you guys are going. See, at Geekset, being the reporters of the culture, it is stories like this. It is moments like this that we would like to amplify and continue to show the world. Blerd Culture is ever evolving, and there's so many dope individuals involved with it. So why not uplift the people that are pushing the culture that we love so much? Geekset will continue to be here, always looking for the next person to showcase, always trying to show everybody's geek point, because this is Geeked. Love what you do what you love.
Real. But
is Mike ready? Mike, are you ready?
He looks a bit perturbed. I don't think he's properly finished.
Michael?
Is he frozen?
All right, bro. I'm just gonna end the space, bro. I'm finna cut it out. Or actually, I think I got the intro or the outro. Hold on.
Can y'all hear it at all? No.
No.
Damn it.
Oh,
hey, bro. I know it might be different. It might be different because we don't hear it.
I hear it now.
I got it, bro. It's all me, bro. I'm finna take care of it.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Hey.
I can't hear that all on my end, but that's okay.
I don't give a damn about nothing else.
Thank you for all the love. Thank you for that soul that pulled up your I love you. All the way to 100 episodes. 100 episodes, 100 more. Because we keep going. Fucking internet, all fucking night, every fucking night. We in it, fucking seconds. Fucking go.
Hey, you got them sound effects, Mike? Hey, I can binge watch for a week. Gunshots, Mike. Hey, reload that bitch. Reload that bitch. Hey.
DJ Unbothered.
Hey, let that bitch go crazy, bro, because I don't have the whole song. So we just finna end it like this.
Oh, fuck it. I got you. Hold on.
Hey.
DJ Unbothered.
Yeah, we love it with Mike.